Good evening, everybody. I'm Shelly B, a conservative sister surviving in a hot mess world. So today's hot mess is going to be Jasmine Crocket and the whole host of characters on the left with the news from some of my favorite conservative podcasts. I would like you guys to go down the rabbit holes and look at some of these Black conservative podcasts because there's lots of people out there. I mean, millions, 70 millions, over 70 million people that, are not leftists and don't agree with the agenda. And, you guys are just kind of being blind faith followers and not, hearing all sides of the story. So that's why I like to come on here and show you some of my favorite conservative podcasters, and not just conservatives, but just journalists that, just report the news and report the truth. And, they're not biased on one side or the other also. So tonight, I want to show you two of my favorite podcasts, and they're both male podcasts. One, a more mature man, one, a younger group of gentlemen that I just love to watch because I love their perspective and I love their commentary. But first, please like, share, and subscribe. As I always say when I come on here, like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please help me build the following on YouTube. Please help me catch the algorithm. Like, share, subscribe. Leave comments. Submit for notifications and stuff like that. You know what to do. You know what to do. Okay, so let's get right into this because I watch the news every day, but not mainstream news. I can't stand mainstream news, and it just really irritates me to watch. So I every day I get up in the morning and I watch all kinds of news and different journalists and stuff like that on YouTube. Really, most of it. I watch InfoWars. I look at BitChute. I look at a whole bunch of things. That's why I keep telling you guys, you can't get the full story if you're only hearing one side's narrative. You got to listen to everything, and I guarantee you're going to change your mind once you're not so propagandized and just hearing one side of a story. There's always two sides of every story and the truth, and only way you can discern which is to hear all sides of the story. Okay, so this gentleman right here, let's share my screen, is Anthony Brian Logan. I really like him. He's a Black conservative podcaster. And I just really like the way his commentary, and I think he's funny, makes me laugh, and he's a Black man. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I do watch a lot of podcasts of men, and because I know what I'm a woman, I know what my perspective is. I'm not a man, so I don't know how they think, and I don't, and I do appreciate the opinion of a man, especially a Black man, and I do like to watch them. Like, even when it comes to dating and stuff like that, I just feel like women are in this feminist bubble of listening to other women, and it's just getting us nowhere. And I just like the perspective of some of these men. So let's just get into this now. I picked this for today because I like the way how he put this together, and I just like his opinions and stuff like that. And I did Byron Donald finally responded to Jasmine Crocket reading him about his white wife. Okay. And I like Anthony Brian Logan's, his commentary and his response to her behavior, because I feel like, she just, for as much as the left talks about racism, I feel like leftists are very bigoted, and they're very, I don't know. Let's just watch this, and you guys can discern for yourself how you feel about this, because I just think that her behavior is ridiculous. I feel like most of the left's behavior is ridiculous. They never have any policy. They're just always, nitpicking, race baiting all the time. And honestly, this brother right here, Byron Donalds, they were on him from the beginning because he said during Jim Crow was a better time for Black families. And it really was. If you take out the fact that Democratic white people that created the KKK and, did Jim Crow and all that to us, okay, because it was Democrats that did that. you know, it was a time where our families were mostly intact. It was more black businesses than ever. And it was just, if it wasn't for them, it probably would have been a very good quality of life for us. And that's what he said. And they just, of course, the left always going to spin something crazy and make it more than what it is and just be ignorant. Because I just feel like they were all ignorant. They didn't know history and they just really pissed me off. But listen to this now.
Florida House Rep Byron Donalds responded to Texas House Rep Jasmine Crocket after she attacked him for being married to a white woman. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing?
I can't even understand why she would even get up there and talk about somebody being married to a white person. Kamala's husband has a white woman, and if you go through Congress, most of them have white husbands, white women, and then she's sitting up there with her black ass defending a white president. So make it make sense. It's just all bullshit to me.
My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Byron Donalds responding, clapping back to Jasmine Crocket after she attacked him for being married to a white woman. Now, I don't really know why Jasmine Crocket did that. I mean, I understand the context. The context was she thinks that Byron Donalds just does whatever the white man tells him, and she thinks he's quote unquote whitewashed. So him being married to a white woman.
You can't tell me that leftists and all those people on the left is they're told to behave in a certain way to pander to a certain group of people. Jasmine Crocker's walking around acting like she's this ghetto hood rat tough girl and all that, but that's not even her background. Like, she just became that. It's like Kamala, how she was acting like she was black out of nowhere and just, you know, talking with some kind of accent and ebonics and stuff like that. You know, she's pandering to a certain kind of black person, but I feel like it's just going to backfire like everything else the Democratic Party does, because those ignorant ghetto ass black people that she's trying to pander to, it's really a small majority of black people. It really is embarrassing.
Just kind of aids in her thought process about Byron Donalds. It's weird for her to do that, because once you attack someone for who they're married to and who they have kids with, now you're bringing in the wife and the kids. That's below the belt. And you also open yourself up to criticism. Jasmine Crocket, you are 44 years old, never been married, and you don't have any children. So what's going on? It's easier for women to get those things than it is for a man to get those things. Yet the man you're attacking has it and you don't.
Oh,
why would you do that? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with not having kids and not being married, but when you attack someone else who does have kids and who is married, then I don't understand.
And honestly, I feel like whoever you're married to is irrelevant. It's the spirit and what you do for your community. Because every time I hear the story, it just makes me think of Frederick Douglass. He was married to a black woman. She passed away. Then he ended up marrying this white woman, and she was an abolitionist also. And a lot of abolitionists of that period were whites. The Underground Railroad would not have worked without the white people that helped, the Quakers and people like that hid them in their houses and stuff like that. So I hate the way, you know, liberals always base everything on race, and everybody's a racist if you don't agree with what they're saying and stuff like that, or you're racist if you're with a white person, unless you're a Democrat, because if you're a Democrat, you can be with a white person all you want, because Kamala Harris was married to a white man. I think he's Jewish. You understand? So make it make sense. I just feel like these people are full of shit. One thing I could say about conservative people, they're consistent with the way they think about things. You know what I'm saying? They just are. You know what I'm saying? Do I agree with all of their positions? No. But do I agree with most of it? Yes. Do I agree with leftists and their positions most of the time? No. Almost 100% no. The more that they go, the less I can align with them.
And what you're doing, like what's really going on. Now, before I go any further, let's get into the actual clip here. This is from Joe Pags. Shout out to Joe Pags. I will link to his video and his channel in the box if you want to see it there without my comment.
One thing I like about Byron Donalds is that he stands up. You know, he's not, they try to attack him all the time, and he'll go back on them shows, and he'll ask them to debate and all this, but they don't want to. I feel like he has backbone.
You know where to go. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
It's a clapback you've got to see. You probably heard what Jasmine Crocket said about Byron Donalds on that guy Lenny's radio show. She sat there and called out his wife because of her race and then went on this rant. Now, I interviewed Byron Donalds a little while ago. You've got to see his reaction. Do not stop watching this. It's going to blow your mind.
Now, first of all, Joe Pags, your voice, amazing. It's butter smooth. It's perfect. That voice goes right there. So shout out to Joe Pags for the voice.
And if we continue to put people into office, and that even means
now, just listen to when she's talking. To me, she just goes on and really saying nothing of any value. Can you stick to the policies instead of attacking everybody? Can you say what you're going to do? Every time she come on something, she's talking about what everybody else is doing that she don't like. I wish that she would talk about what she is doing, what she can do to make the situation better that she keeps complaining about.
Some of our skin folk who definitely are not our kinfolk, such as Byron Donalds, who are going to continue to say that, like, I mean, the fact that you sitting around talking about life was better under Jim.
You ask some conscious people about skin folk and kinfolk, they'll say about her wig and her wearing white people's hair or some Indian person's hair that she ain't no kinfolk and that she's what's the word they always use? She's indoctrinated and she's she's has no knowledge of self. Okay, if you want to really go on the road of people that's not kinfolks, you know what I'm saying? Skin folk that ain't kinfolk. You know, why do you have some other race's hair on your head? You know, we could take it there if that's how you want to go. Because if I was in the studio, I would have threw that out there.
Jim Crow. Like,
now I want to pause right quick. If you didn't catch my other video, what Byron Donalds said about Jim Crow is that the truth is families were together more during that period of time than they are right now. That's just the facts. It is what it is. The single parent household rate was much lower in the Black community. As I said before, we had an 80% two parent household rate in 1965, 80% two parent household rate. That was considered a crisis because it was too low. It should have been 95%, which was the white two parent household rate. Fast forward to right now, 2025, you're talking about a 70 to 75% single parent household rate in the Black community. And among whites, it's about a 25% single parent household rate, which will bring you lower than the 80% among the Black community, which was an emergency. A little bit of context. Let's keep riding.
And the thing too about that interview with Byron is that they were arguing him on so many things about what he was saying about Jim Crow, but everything he said was 100% correct, and they did not know their history at all. At all. You understand? And like everything that he said was 100% correct. So this is why I say you cannot listen to people. You have to go down a rabbit hole and you have to study. And you have to read and you have to ask questions. And somebody makes a comment, a statement, don't just ride with it because you're a Democrat or whatever you think. You got to make sure what they saying ain't bullshit. Because everything he was saying about the Jim Crow period was the truth. That was the best time in history for Black people. Because white people wasn't fucking with us. We had our own businesses, our own schools, our own hospitals, our own universities. We even had bus companies, airlines, hotels, gas stations, you name it, because they didn't want us in their society. So we created our own. And I feel like I wish that we could go back to that, but it's like we're so conditioned to think we need these people, and none of the people are left from that period when we had all of that. You understand? So now they can just tell you anything that you need DEI, you need the government to survive, you can't take care of your baby, get an abortion, all these things. It's just bullshit. It's bullshit. And we have to just start thinking for ourselves.
Is this because you don't understand history? Or
now she's going to say she don't understand history. And I guarantee y'all that everything that Byron Donalds said was 100% facts. They don't know history.
Clearly, it's because you married a white woman, and so you think that whitewashed you.
You married a white woman, so you think that whitewashes you. Well, I had Byron Donalds on. He's running for governor of the great state of Florida, and it was just a great conversation. But he went there. You got to see this.
first and foremost, don't talk about my wife. Keep my wife out of this. Ain't got nothing to do with her.
It
You
really
can talk to me
doesn't.
about policy anytime you want to. Secondarily,
She ain't gonna
there was
never
a
talk
couple of
about
times on the
policy.
campaign trail last year where I know I was booked to be on stage or to be in debate with Jasmine, and all of a sudden her schedule changed. She had a conflict, whatever the case might be. So if she wants to do this, if she wants to have that debate, I'm easy.
She's never going to debate him ever, because look at how she talks. She just, all she does is get on there and act all ghetto and insult people, but never will say the policy. This brother right here will talk about the policy. He's very intelligent. You know, I would love to see Jasmine debate him so she'll look like a fool. I mean, I feel like she's already looking like a fool.
Easy to find. You know, you ain't got to look hard for me. You know, I'm 6'2". You can find me. It's pretty easy. Number three, and most importantly, this demonstrates, frankly, the racism in the Democrat Party, because they don't have a problem when Kamala Harris is married to a white man, or when Ketanji Brown Jackson's married to a white man, as long as they subscribe to the politics of the Democratic left. As long as you do that, everything is fine. But if you're a conservative, but your spouse happens to be white or of another race, then
that is so true. That's why I say, that's why the Democrats have such a low approval rating, because they are such hypocrites. You know what I'm saying? It's like, where all this stuff that they complain about, they do it. Like they complain about Elon Musk, but what about George Soros and all the secret billionaires that they had helping them? At least Elon Musk is out in the forefront and, you know, standing on, you know, I'm out here, I'm helping, I'm trying to do, you know, George Soros is sneaking money for this, sneaking money for that, paying off judges, doing everything. I mean, come on, these people, I can't.
All of a sudden, it's a problem. This is the racism that occurs in the Democrat Party. I'm sick of it, tired of the BS.
Me too.
I tell any one of them who have a concern about me and what they think my views are, debate me. And if you don't want to debate me, Google me. There's plenty of information out there, because I know that I have the facts. I have the information. I can back my stuff up. All they can do is throw out innuendos, throw out talking points. And the last thing I'll say about Ms. Crocket, and I'm going to leave it alone. Jasmine, I don't use talking points. Nobody tells me what to say. Woo! And so I know how to deliver a message because I have facts, I have logic, I use economics. I don't get into hyperbole. So if you are concerned about some of the things that I say find a show. It could be whatever show you want to. We'll sit there and do it. We'll have a good time along the way, and you'll go ahead and be defeated very quickly.
Make sure you're following this channel right here if you like this kind of stuff.
So shout out to Joe Peg. Shout out to Byron Donalds. That was amazing. Hey, there's so much I want to say. There's a lot there. First of all, Jasmine Crocket, not you hiding, not you running from Byron Donalds. Is that what we're doing? Are you big and bad, cussing and fussing and carrying on? Talk about, oh, you think you whitewash because you got a white wife? Well, okay, if you feel that way and you want to say that on the Breakfast Club, then why not go to wherever you were scheduled to go on more than one occasion and talk to the man face to face? Why not do that? Okay, you're in politics, he's in politics. You're in the house, he's in the house. I'm sure you guys see each other in DC. I'm sure you guys are sometimes, like you said, scheduled to be at the same place in front of a microphone, being able to talk. So why not do that? That should be how this is handled. Let's have a discussion. Let's have a debate. Let's go on the podcast and you can express yourself freely. That's what I would do. And you know what I would do if I was Byron Donalds? And I know he knows. He's a smart guy. And shout out to him running for governor of Florida. I hope he wins. Shout out to, what's her name? Casey DeSantis, Ron DeSantis' wife. She ran for governor as well. I like Ron, I like his wife. They're cool. Okay. But I like Byron as well. I think he'll be able to win. But getting back to what I was saying, I think what he's going to do is point out the hypocrisy, as I've done before. Listen, you have all these people in the Democratic Party married to white women when they're not white.
Yes, they do.
Black people, Indian people, biracials like Kamala Harris.
And why does everything always boil down to black and white? This is the reason why the DEI thing is so dumb. Because why is everything black, white, when there is so many races of people in America? And in 2025, who cares? Who cares?
They're married to white people and nobody says a word. And as a matter of fact, if you say something about it, you'll be called a racist. If you pronounce Kamala's name wrong, you'll be called a racist. But Jasmine Crocket goes on the Breakfast Club, a nationally syndicated radio show, and says that the man is whitewashed being married to a white.
Because they're as dumb and ignorant as her, and they're not going to call her out for her dumb shit. Because anybody that has some sense and knew and understood history and stuff, they should have, debated her on that. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. For some reason, they're just cowards. I can't stand that show.
White woman, and that's not racist. Let's be consistent. If it's racist one time, then it's racist all the time. The color of somebody's skin, the race, ethnic origin, all of that shouldn't even matter when it comes to.
That is so true. If it's racist to judge me because I'm black, then it should be just as racist to judge somebody because they white, Indian, Asian, or whatever. The Asian people say they really getting, treated bad, because of the DEI and not getting into the colleges and stuff like that when they have like these stellar records and stuff like that. So, listen, I don't understand it. This is just so crazy to me. And I just feel like Black people always are feeling like they're being victimized because somebody's telling them that they're being victimized. You have these white people on the left telling you that you're being victimized when you're not. Black Americans are some of the most successful people on the planet. You understand? And I don't understand why people keep believing that. You can be anything you want to be. Nobody can stop you. And then they have all these DEI programs and, the 1964 Civil Rights Act. All that shit really benefits white women. Most of the benefit of that is white women. And now the DEI, the LGBTQ people or whatever. You understand? Black people do not benefit from anything in this country. Get it right. It's nothing stopping you but you.
Spouse, as long as y'all two are on the same page and y'all consenting and it ain't no imprisonment going on, then who cares? Who cares?
Nobody cares.
I don't even care
Except
if you're married to a man, if you're a man. Don Lemon,
exactly.
And you're married to the white man, I don't care.
How about that? Don Lemon's married to a white man, but he be the main person up there talking about race. These people are crazy to me. They're just crazy. They are so disingenuous and crazy and hypocritical.
My only issue is the hypocrisy.
Yes.
Don Lemon will get on TV and say that the white man is the most dangerous in the world. The white man is the devil, the scourge of the earth. He'll say all that and then go right home to a white man, living in the bed with a white man.
Okay, how about that?
It's like, okay, if you're doing that at home, then why would you say something like that on air?
A lot of them
it doesn't really add up. And when you do things like that don't add up, that means you're a liar. That means you're a hypocrite, and you'll say pretty much whatever they put in front of you to say.
And what's worse than that is that the people watching somebody like that get on there every day and race bait them, tell them that they're being oppressed and the white man this and the white man that, and go home to a white person. To me, I wouldn't trust somebody like that telling me that. I just wouldn't, because it really can't be that much of a problem. If you're on TV on some white-owned network and you live with a white man and you're going to tell me that I'm oppressed or that I'm being treated with racism, to me, it's just so crazy. And I don't see how there's anybody left that accepts it. I mean, their approval rating is 20%. So most of the people don't buy this shit. The only reason why you think so is because their media is still on and you still watch that. But if you go out into the rest of the world and look at independent media, look at some of the conservative podcasts and the independent news and stuff like that, you will see the huge followings that these people have that CNN and MSNBC do not have. I'm telling you, you got to get out that bubble and join the rest of the world.
You have no agency. You have no voice of your own. You're just a tool to be used by them. You're not an independent person. You're not an independent thinker. Now, as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to Byron Donalds for standing up for not only himself, but his wife, of course, and his children, because when Jasmine Crocket says that, she's insulting her and his kids. So shout out to him for being the father, being the man, and standing up for them. But also, shout out to him for inviting her to talk about it. Hey, you got an issue, you have a problem. Let's go to a podcast. Let's go to a speaking engagement. Let's do something and have the conversation that way. And I'm sure he'll point out everything I pointed out. The hypocrisy, the double standard, the racism, the very thing that they say that's what everybody keeps pointing out. And that's why their approval rating is so low.
These people have been in office for decades. And for the last 4 years, they've been there. Now, all of a sudden, they want to fight and have all this work to do and want to fight for this, fight for that, fight for this, fight. Why didn't you fight for all of the shit that American people were asking for in the first place? And then still, Americans want what's happening for the most part. You understand? They have a 20% approval rating. And half of the country is happy with what's going on for most of it. And they're going against the American people yet again. It's like they never listen. They have a globalist agenda, and they're going to do what the powers that be and where they're getting their millions from, is going to tell them to do. You understand? Because all of these people are millionaires off of tax dollars. So that's why they don't want you to know. You understand? They want to make you think they're going to take your Social Security. And it's just not true. It's just lies. They want to expose the deep state and the globalist agenda that the Democrats are funding. But y'all fighting, they got y'all so confused to where you're fighting against the people that are really the people that are the enemy, that really are the people that's really stocking it to Americans, the working class. They constantly want to tax us, have IRS agents audit us, and we can't audit them, and y'all actually defending these people. It's just psychopath.
Are on the right from the left is what they are on the left. What does the left say? You guys are racist. You guys are hateful. They say all that, but really that's them.
That's them.
And what they're doing.
All they do is complain about the people that they don't like. Anybody that don't agree with them, you're racist, you're bad, you're this, you're a threat to democracy, all this and that. But instead of doing that, they could just say what they would do. Okay, yeah, these people are bad, but how are you better? But they can't do that because they're not.
Doing when they say that about us, it's classic projection. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about Byron Donalds?
I like Anthony Brian Logan because I like his point of view, and I like the stories that he chooses to talk about. And there is thousands upon thousands of people out there like this that you could look at every day. And I've showed you in some of my other videos, some of my favorite shows, some of my favorite podcasts, and some of my favorite interviewers and stuff like that. Like, it's so much out there. I don't even watch mainstream media. I don't really know nothing what the mainstream media says except for what these people, except for what these people talk about daily. And most of these shows come on every day, and you can get the news every day. Do I agree with all the positions that I hear? No. Do you guys agree with every position you hear on leftist media? I sure hope not. Because that's the whole reason why they not in office, is because of their crazy policies, and Americans didn't like it and they voted against them. And I really wish they would just leave everybody alone and give them a chance. Just like they have 4 years. We gave them 4 years and they made a mess. Why can't they just leave these people alone and let them do what they're going to do? Change takes time. Sometimes change is hurtful, but I definitely feel that this nation needs to start having industry right here, because with the way that the climate is, you don't want to rely on all these abroad nations for all the things we need. We don't get nothing here. And we have the capacity to have more stuff here, and they never talk about all of the companies that want to put their factories here now and stuff like that. It's going to take time. You think he's after a couple of months, everything's just going to switch after it took them 4 years to mess it up? I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's so annoying. I'm just so sick of these people. And I just be glad when the rest of the people that's left, that little 20% of people that's left, get tired of these damn people, because it's just annoying. They are so freaking annoying. It's just stupid at this point. It really is stupid. Really stupid. I don't see how anybody can even fall for this shit anymore. This is the wrong one. Yes, here it is. Now, what did I just do? I made it too big. Oh, I gotta share this one. Sorry, you guys. I'm getting it together. Let me stop this one and get this off of here. Okay, now let's try it one more time. Okay, this should work now. Okay, there we go. I'm getting it together little by little. Now, this is a group of guys called Cartier.
The Floyd.
Oh my God, what are they called again? Sorry, you guys, I don't want to mess up the name. Cartier family. That's what they're called. And I like these guys because they're young. They're all college educated. They're very smart, and they make me laugh. They're hilarious, and I just like their perspective. It's 4 of them. There's only 3 today, and I like this because they all have different personalities and different views and stuff like that. But they're great. I watch them a lot, and I think their commentary is funny, and it's just nice to see the perspective of a young Black man because they get no respect in society, and I really like these guys.
Florida 6 race, which was a Trump plus 30 district, where the margin was cut in half.
Now, just watch this. The way that he talks is so annoying. Hakeem Jeffries, I just don't like him. I don't like the way he looks. When he talks, he always seems like he's on like, I don't know, like, you know, like a 10-second delay or something like that. Just listen to him. I don't know. These people are crazy to me. I can't take it.
And we'll see where it ultimately lands. But we know at minimum it was cut in half to around 15 or 16 points. There are 60 Republicans in the House of Representatives who currently represent districts where Trump did.
He always pausing like he's
than 15 or 16 points. And every single one of those districts, there's now a target on the backs of those House Republicans.
You think this in Wisconsin was a referendum on Musk?
Well, I could look at it from another direction. I think the Schimmel campaign was.
I actually like this white guy on the left because he's just funny, and like he be having one. That's what I say about the conservatives, the independent media, and stuff like that. They be having receipts. And he come on there and he'll come on CNN every time and they attack him, but he be holding his own with them. And he's kind of funny.
Really struggling, both financially and just in terms of traction before Musk got involved. He may have actually, given whatever boost he had late. But it didn't solve for the issue that the Republicans have, which are these low propensity voters and trying to get them to turn out for things that are not Donald Trump. You heard Elon Musk, I think correctly, try to tie a vote in the Supreme Court race to much larger, macro political issues, but it wasn't enough. And
I like, what I like too, what I say about conservatives a lot of time, if if Donald Trump is doing something that they don't like, they will get on his ass and they will get on media and they will talk about it and they will say he's wrong or they'll say mistakes they're making. This one news show that I like to watch, Redacted, they be on them every day. Y'all should watch that because I think it's a very neutral ground. I really like that one called Redacted. So, I just feel like, there's two sides of every story and the truth, and nobody's perfect and they all make mistakes. I cannot say enough times that y'all hate Donald Trump so much, but y'all took the vaccine. He did Operation Warp Speed. What's the medical product that's on market, before it was ready. And y'all hate him so much, but y'all trusted that vaccine. I don't get it. That's why I say it's something wrong with people's brains and their minds are warped because it's like whatever they tell you to be mad about, you're mad about it. You understand? If it was me, I would be mad about Operation Warp Speed, but I didn't take it, so that's not really an issue for me. Honestly, I really don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? But those of you that did take an experimental medical product rush to market that he helped create, you understand? He does a lot of things that I don't really like. I don't like that he's, aligned with Israel. And, I don't like what's happening in Iran, even after he said he wouldn't go to war with them and stuff. Even though he didn't have no wars last time, I'm hoping that they can get out of not having a war. But, I don't feel like any party is perfect, and that's what I do like about the conservative. A lot of the conservatives, they will call their people out. Leftists, they act like their people can do no wrong. It's like they don't admit to none of their mistakes and none of their hypocrisies and none of their bullshit. And people see it, and then they wonder why people don't align with them because they're just very disingenuous and they're just, they're full of shit.
That is an equation the Republicans have to solve for. I don't think it's going to be an issue in 28, but look, you got a midterm between now and then. It will be an issue in these midterms, and that's something the party strategists are going to have to deal with.
He came to the state. He talked about cutting Medicaid, Social Security.
Now, honestly, I don't know who. I see this girl all the time because, you know, she has some CNN show, but I'm sorry. They always put the most dizziest Black people in the forefront to speak for us. And y'all know it's true. If you look at music, they do it. Any form of entertainment, they always put like a person that we probably wouldn't pick, or they'll put some person that people that are not ghetto ass fucking people would be humiliated with, like Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B and Sukiana and people like that. They do the same thing with every form of media, and politics is no different. Look at these people. Joy Reid was another one that I felt was dizzy. I mean, she would be just wrong all the time. And I would at least say that they're just wrong, or are they lying, or are they stupid? Which is it? Because I feel like she be looking stupid all the time. I don't know. Just watch this.
Doge, bringing those issues up.
Actually, he never talked. He explicitly said in Green Bay that he would not cut Social Security.
Well,
that's exactly what he said
at his rallies.
No.
Now look at this. She's going to make up a narrative that's not true. And this guy is not going to let her do that, because he was there and he's going to give her the facts and receipts, and she's going to keep changing the story. She's going to keep changing it up. And look at this guy's face right here. I don't know if I can point to it, but look at this guy. I can't point to it. But this guy's face, he looks so mad. The one on the left, the light skinned one with the light eyes, he looks mad.
Other people said about that, but I was there. I watched it. Okay. He did not say. He was
all right. Well, other people at his rally.
So now she's going to say other people said it now.
For Elon Musk's organization talked about those issues.
No, I was at the rally. Not a one. That's what protesters said, but nobody there actually said.
Do you think that there are risks here?
There are. People believe the lies that people are saying about that. But that's not at all what they said. If people believe that Medicaid and Medicare is going to be touched, that's just a outright lie. What he talked about are people.
And it is a lie, because they said umpteen times that no benefits are going to be affected. No benefits, no payouts to American people. The whole point of what they're trying to do is to give more money back to the American people, cut all the corruption so American people can get the most out of their tax dollars, and more people, because the money they saved in Social Security, people going to get a raise in their benefit. So they are lying. That's why I say, you know, you can't listen to this, because you have to get out there and see other media and get the facts, and then, you know, make a decision that way. They gave more money to Section 8, all kinds of stuff. You understand? They said that they were cutting people's food stamps. That was a lie too. The left is going to tell y'all anything to get you to, you know, give them their power back. But you have to have discernment.
Who are over 120 years old, clearly are not alive.
Well, the reason I brought it up is
Social Security or Medicare.
Just go back again and just see how she tries to keep changing the story. She'll keep, okay, such and such said this. Okay, well, they didn't say it. This person said it. Okay, well, this person said it. Like, she just keeps going on and on. And I'm just like, this is bullshit. This is how they lie to y'all all the time.
He came to the state. He talked about cutting Medicaid, Social Security through Doge. Bringing those issues up.
Actually, he never talked. He explicitly said in Green Bay that he would not cut Social Security.
Well,
that's exactly what he said.
Talked at his rallies.
No. Other people said about that, but I was there. I watched it. Okay. He did not say.
All right. Well, other people at his rallies.
Other people now did it.
She worked for Elon
First
Musk's
it was him, then it was other people.
No, I was at the rally. Not a one. That's what protesters said, but nobody there actually said.
Do you think that there are risks here?
There are. People believe the lies that people are saying about that. But that's not at all what they said. If people believe that Medicaid and Medicare is going to be touched, that's just a outright lie. What he talked about are people who are over 120 years old, who clearly are not alive.
Well, the reason I brought it up is
Social Security or Medicare.
Okay, well,
that's totally wrong.
Just to sort this out, the reason I brought this up is because the claim here is that there's massive, widespread fraud, and that's all they're addressing. That's obviously a disputed claim, because it's not true that 120-year-old people are getting Social Security checks. The checks stop at a certain point automatically, because those checks are checks and balances.
But those Social Security numbers get counted for various parts of the federal government. So they count. They don't get a benefit directly to those people, but they count for money that gets allocated to different departments in their budget.
So you understand what he's saying? The money that getting paid out, they're making it seem like this money is still needed, and it's not, because these people are dead. So it's still getting sent. So who's getting all this millions of dollars that these dead people are supposed to have gotten. Money was allocated to these people that are not alive anymore. That's what he's saying. So if $1 million was allocated for all of these people that are dead, where did that money go? That's the point. You understand?
Shouldn't be. If somebody's no longer alive, they should be able to count.
I guess my fundamental question was, what are the risks here?
That wasn't her fundamental question. That was not her fundamental question.
Well, again,
her first question was saying that Elon Musk or Donald Trump or whoever said X, Y, and Z, and then when he said no, they didn't, then she's gonna say, okay, well, at his rallies they say it. No, they never said that after. Okay, well, the supporters said it. No, they didn't. You know, so she just kept trying to keep going with the lie, and they do this all the time on mainstream media. It is a propaganda machine. That's what it's for. It's just like China. That news is just to keep you propagandized and to give you the information that you need to be stupid.
Again, in the end, he's going to have to continue to make the case.
And don't get it twisted. I don't trust none of the mainstream medias, Fox News, none of them, because they're all. I feel like Fox News is almost like a controlled opposition in a way. You know what I mean? They're all owned and controlled by the same people. That's why Tucker Carlson got fired, because he was saying something that they didn't want and they fired him. You know, so you know, I don't trust no mainstream media. I ride with the independent journalists. I love them.
It's part of the reason why when we talked about our recall, what flipped things for us early on in that recall process, Time Magazine called me Dead Man Walker. And the reason was because all the narratives coming out from the press, coming out from the left, were about all these horrible, egregious things. Once we started to give examples of things we were actually doing, not the things the press said, not the things that our opponent said, but the things that we were actually doing, when we ended up going before the voters in the final.
These young men are going to say some things that they are doing that probably you don't ever know about because the mainstream media doesn't report it. They're just going to put their narrative that everything is bad, everything is wrong, everybody's evil, bad, 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 even though they never have no policy and say what they're going to do, you know, and they were there for 4 years and didn't do shit, you know.
Election and the recall, we actually won by more votes than we did. So I think that what's paramount for him or anyone else aligned with him is keep giving actual examples of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Set aside things like Social Security and make it abundantly.
And I feel like this administration to me is very like transparent. That's the word that they keep running with. They're saying what they do. Every step of the way, they're saying what they do. I have never seen a president like Donald Trump where the press just come and they just throw questions. He doesn't have no script. The questions are not given to him ahead of time and all that. He just sits there and answers them honestly and say whatever he's going to say. You know, so I just feel like if they could be just left alone and just do what the hell they want to do and have Democrats stop fighting what the American people voted for and just leave everybody alone. You know, they just lie about everything like that. They said, oh, they deported a father. There was a father they deported to El Salvador. No, he was a father and he had a bunch of kids here in America, but he was a gang member and he was like a leader of a gang. And, you know, they just leave out certain things. And then one of the liberal talking heads, the fat guy looked like one of the Crumps. I can't remember his name. He said that he didn't care if he was a gang member or not, that he should have due process. And I'm like, but you came here illegally. That was the crime. And then they've been trying to deport that guy since like 2017, 2019 or something like that. So, you know, they're always leaving out parts of the story. That's why you guys, whatever they tell you on there, you need to go to independent journalists and see what they say about the same issue. And there's also websites that you could go to, like search engines, and it'll tell you if this story is from the left, if it's from the right, or if it's neutral. You understand? So you know who's telling the story, because you know if it's a left story, it's going to be more in their favor. If it's a right story, it's going to be more in their favor. And then you have some that's like dead center. So, you know, you got to do more research. Like, I don't trust anything that I hear really at first until I, you know, try to like validate it more.
Clear that that's not being touched. But if there's waste, fraud, or abuse, spell it out, make the case, and bring it to the voters.
I think you saw a repudiation of the fact that Donald Trump got elected to seal the southern border and to reduce the price of eggs. Donald Trump has come to Washington,
This is what I'm saying. Why do they get on every show, every segment, the whole hour is about Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Donald Trump. It's like Instead of just ignore them. Okay, you don't like them, just ignore them and talk about what you're going to do, what you can do to make things better. But they can never say that, ever.
And flip things upside down in a way that
It's
people
so
do
annoying. I
not
don't see
want.
how people watch
And
that
so today
anymore.
you had, I forget the department because they shut a new department down every day.
21%,
But you had employees,
Trump
I think it was
approval rating.
HHS today.
It's
I
an
can't
all-time
recall.
high.
It was at HHS.
Trump's approval rating
At
keeps
the health
going up and
department,
up.
standing in line today, and they didn't know who was going to be hired and who wasn't. And so you can sit here and say that, oh, we're not going to cut Medicaid, we're not going to do this. But the people who are in charge of running those programs don't have jobs today. And so it's hard to effectuate and put those policies in place if Elon Musk is here running roughshod on the government.
Elections, it was 10-1 that the Democrats out.
One man, Elon Musk, is auditing the government, but Congress has been running amok for years, stealing money, funding wars in other countries, trafficking out, laundering our money to other nations for wars and all kind of stuff, paying their friends, making government contracts, wasting money, giving it to people millions of dollars, and they don't do no work for it or whatever. And they have the nerve to sit up there and be mad and have their people mad that somebody wants to expose this. It's crazy. They don't want them to look at this because I hope they all go to jail. I hope that they really do what they're going to say, drain the swamp and lock all these people up.
Outspend the Republicans. And yes, Democrats are obviously more
in the Florida races.
In the Florida races, it's 10-1. So talk about buying an election. But you said President Trump was elected to secure the border. He was elected to lower the price of eggs. Guess what? Both of those things have happened. Mortgage rates have also come down. Oil prices have come down.
If you think the last thing I just want to, if you think the kitchen table issues today, if you think that people are sitting at home today and saying that their prices have gone down today,
You don't know what nobody is saying at their kitchen table because all of these people are getting mad money to sit there and talk like this. You understand? These people are so disconnected from what the American people really want, because if they weren't, they wouldn't be sitting here fighting against this administration because the people voted for it.
then you need to go outside.
I'm simply saying that the egg prices have come down, the oil prices have come down, mortgage rates have come down.
That's a fact. Waffle House still has a 50-cent surcharge on eggs. Okay.
I went shopping the other day. I think the other thing that's really important to point out is the referendum in Wisconsin, the voter ID referendum, which was President Trump's one huge priority for President Trump, voter IDs. And it passed by double digits. And that, I think, was also a very big win. So
hey, man, Bakari, man, you ain't stopped taking L since I seen you cry.
This is why
I knew you as a whole.
Are literally at 21% approval rating. Right
it's just like they'll try to make a point and then they'll get debunked, and it's like they get mad. It's like, well, you have to go talk to people. But if you, but your original statement. The egg prices are down. Oil is down. Yep. The border's secure.
Everything he said he was going to do.
The egg prices were up.
Well, if you think people are not happy, listen. People are happy with Trump.
And I feel like the reason why they don't want, like, they want to try to stop Trump, because I really do feel like they know that he's going to do majority of what he say he's going to do. You understand? And I've read his book Art of the Deal, and I feel like he's going to be able to make a lot of these deals. I really do. Like somebody was saying too, how like he was arguing back and forth with North Korea, and then now they friends. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like he might be great for foreign policy. If I wish they would just leave him alone and see what they're going to do. Because if nothing else out of this administration, we'll have a better military for sure, because more people are joining the military, and we'll have a lot more factories here and a lot more work come here and stuff like that. The stock market goes up and down. Y'all acting stupid about the stock market right now. It was never worse than it was in 2020. There's nothing, I don't ever see the economy being worse than it was in 2020 with Democrats' dumbass COVID policies. So y'all need to really stop. That's why I say it's hypocritical. You understand? They're making up shit that hasn't even happened yet, but we do know what happened already. They shut all the businesses down, shut the schools down, kick people out of their jobs. There's people that still haven't been made whole from, what they did during COVID, and the economy still hasn't recovered. They destroyed small business with COVID, and now they're going to act like they care about businesses. These people are full of shit. Y'all have to see it.
54% approval rating. That's an all-time high.
Are you serious?
21% approval rating for Democrats because of people like you. You won't get
every time I see a new poll, and CNN has been doing these polls. That's the funny thing. But every time I see these polls, it's like it's going up and up and up as far as his approval rating, because people are very happy about that border. Ain't nobody really tripping about sending the people home except for Democrats. And I say the Democratic Congress, because most of the people, that's the reason why the approval rate keeps going up, because they see that they're doing what they said.
You won't stop pushing this bullshit. You won't stop and admit you're wrong. You won't. And that's the problem. You guys want to be right. You're going to keep beating that dead horse until you keep digging that hole for yourself until you can't get out. And right now, it's not looking like you guys are turning this thing around. And that's unfortunate.
I like to say, she simply said, well, I'm just simply saying the oil prices are down. And that's a fact right now in 2022. Gas was at $3.
True,
and right now, it is at $2. It is almost a $4 lower than with Trump than with Joe Biden. And that's a fact. I don't understand.
And a lot of industry is coming here.
There's literally no point. I just haven't seen Democrats actually make a point yet, bro.
Well,
like, I mean, there's been so much.
They finna make a point about what happened today, though. So
that they won this election.
So what?
No,
who cares?
I'm talking about we seen the stock market. They're gonna try and make that as a point now.
Well, you better know.
Listen, the stock market was down in 2020, like probably the same or worse than what it is now. Now, there are a lot of businesses not recovered from 2020. You understand? The stock market goes up and down. I heard in Japan, their projections are not quarterly, but for like every 100 years or something, because you can't really tell. The market always fluctuates. You understand? And sometimes certain things that you do for the economy, it takes time for it to work and show. Like, I feel like all of this industry that's coming here and all of these deals that they made for billions of dollars with all these companies abroad to put their factories here, all of those things are going to make a difference in time. It's going to take time. It took them 4 years. It took them decades to run all of the industry out of here. You think they're going to get it back in 3 months? You know, it's like, just stop being so dumb. And I feel like no matter what happens, people will always thrive and people will always fail. You know what I'm saying? Just like over COVID, some people became really rich over COVID and some people lost everything. You understand? So it is what it fucking is. You know what I mean? Leave these people alone and let them do what they have to do. Can you imagine if they could just really focus and not have to constantly keep on the court and arguing with these people and having them, you know, get on mainstream media and put out these crazy narratives and having everybody acting crazy, blowing up Teslas and all? It's just, they just constantly keeping a conflict and drama going, and it's unnecessary because people can see the ones that have eyes and have discernment, and the rest of them, they're burning up Teslas.
You know, in the stock market, you can win in that. But I mean, we're gonna see what happens with the tariff stuff. But I mean, hey,
you know they're gonna use that crazy.
I mean,
and that's another thing. Why does anybody care about tariffs, reciprocal tariffs? If a nation is charging us tariffs, why is anybody mad if we charge them tariffs? It doesn't make any sense. And the Americans over here are so cowardly. Oh, it's going to mess up our economy and everything. The people here are so scared all the time and just cowards and punk ass people and shit like that. No, we got to do what we got to do to make America have its own industry and be more self-sufficient, because look at what's going on in Europe. You understand? Europe wants America to go to war with them in Iran and all of that. And, you know, I wish Trump would get out of NATO and join with the rest of the world against Europe and I guess Israel and Canada, because I'm telling you, they have too many conflicts. The Europeans just historically have always been the problem. They always want to war with somebody and dictating how somebody should live and all that. And the whole world is sick of their ass and shit. Donald Trump said he would come out of NATO, and I really wish that he would.
The NATO, the American people are still approving what he's doing.
Yeah,
so that's all that really matters.
That's all that matters.
It's crazy that they never bring up the $5 trillion that have been put into our economy. You know, they never want to bring that up.
They never want to bring up anything positive that's happened. They just keep framing these same issues that they were arguing during the election.
Yeah,
they don't understand that that's why they lost. Now they're choosing every unpopular hill to
die.
They
have to keep going. They have to keep going with this narrative because they don't have anything else. They don't have no policy. They are crooked and corrupt. They're trying to block from being exposed. You know, they don't have a leg to stand on. So all they can do is attack this administration and try to convince only the dummies that's left that still believe it, that they're in some kind of threat or in some kind of danger, and they're needy in some way, and that they're not going to survive with these people in office, because people that have discernment know better. I'm sorry.
Legal gang members from getting deported. Oh, it's wrong. I saw this that fat nutty professor dude today said, even if you prove to me they're gang members and they're illegal, I don't believe that they should be deported to a foreign country. What?
Crushing blow for Democrats who had hoped against hope. The Associated Press has called Florida's 6th district race for Republican Randy Fine, and in minutes, the polls will close for Florida's first congressional district. In 1 hour, the polls will close in Wisconsin.
What did he say? He heard some things about Randy Fine, and then the other one said Candace. Candace Owens must have exposed him for something, and he's a Republican, so I got to go look on Candace and see what she's talking about with this guy. This is what I'm saying about the conservatives. They are going to roast anybody. They don't care. They want America to run the way in a righteous way. You understand? And they going to expose everybody, but whether they're good or bad. Just like Elon Musk said, there's Republicans that was crooked too, and they caught them stealing too. Come on.
Pivotal Supreme Court race between radical Susan Crawford and conservative Brad Schimmel.
Radical.
I got to see what
the
Candace had to
judge
say
race
about him.
will decide whether the Wisconsin districts get redrawn. They're going to try to gerrymander Wisconsin to remove 2 Republican seats. And as you know, the House is currently Republican by a razor-thin margin, which means that losing this judge race has a good chance of causing Republicans to lose control of the House. If you lose control of the House, there will be nonstop impeachment hearings.
You bet there will be. Joining me now, Byron York, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner and Fox News contributor.
About abortion in Wisconsin. That's a very big deal, so I don't want to downplay that. But redistricting is really huge. Right now, the Wisconsin congressional delegation is 6 Republicans and 2 Democrats. And Democrats really, really, really want to change that. Cases are going to come, redistricting cases are going to come before the Supreme Court. And that's where a Democratic, we know this is nonpartisan, but a Democratic victory would really help them.
Maybe Mandela Barnes and the other panel in New York saying that he thought that this was in a lot of ways, Mandela Barnes, for people who don't know, former lieutenant governor of Wisconsin, Democrat, saying that in a lot of ways he thought this was a referendum on the involvement of Elon Musk. And we saw Judge Crawford basically making Elon Musk her opponent, not Judge Schimmel, saying like, I didn't know I was going to be, I'm just a humble caveman. I didn't know I was going to be running against a little nod to Saturday Night Live skit. That's not a good slam on the judge. I didn't know I was running against the richest man in the world. And as has been pointed out, this is a state where your own citizens own the football.
They always talk about the Elon Musk, but Democrats have George Soros and all these different billionaires. They gave Kamala 20 million or something like that, or $1 billion or something ridiculous. Most billionaires in America are Democrats, so just never forget that. So they sweating Elon when they really have all of the billionaires on their side, and they still lost. So, this is what I'm saying. They're always lying. Everything that they say that somebody else is doing, they're really the ones that's doing it.
Team. So do you think that was compelling?
I think it's an interesting tactic. It's a little Saul Alinsky-esque in the sense that you've got George Soros and J.D. Pritzker,
the media,
Reid Hoffman, and all these billionaires who've spent far more than Musk did in this, and now pointing to
J.D. Pritzker is the governor of Illinois, isn't he?
Well, collectively,
he's a billionaire.
If you look at all the money from outside that was given to her, again, 77% came from out of state, only 15% came from Schimmel.
And it's like, how do these people that make $100,000 a year all be billionaires and millionaires? I'm telling y'all, it's ridiculous. But American people, we can't demand to see what they're spending our money on. Y'all got to get out of my face with that.
Collectively, a number of the analysis.
I'm just saying, like in terms of the money.
Well, individually, if you look at the whole outside money that came from out of the state, it's clearly.
But you don't think it was a referendum on Musk at all, though?
Oh, I think it had a part. I think a lot of different issues. I think, again, in Wisconsin, you see that flip back and forth. We're much more so than even like a state like Virginia, which historically has gone the opposite of the White House. You see a reaction one way and a reaction the other way. It's why in the last 35 years, there's only been one time a governor has won when their own party's in the White House. So many of these things were multiple factors, not just Trump, not just Musk, but I think multiple. Those are the easiest ones to cover.
Makes sense.
I think it was much more in depth and graded.
I feel like in the primaries, a lot of these Democrat people are going to be voted out of office. I just feel like people are tired of it. They're over it. They're so over it.
Yeah, so I just love how the
he broke that down too nice, man. He was cooking right here.
Oh, he's a former governor of Wisconsin.
No, that makes sense though. Like if one party wins and they're in the White House and the party's gonna be like, well, we gotta go fight for these seats. We're gonna have to vote.
Duh.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I mean, that happens. That's a historical thing. So it's not just a victory for the Democrats.
They're taking it as a victory because now they can gerrymander, rezone, and gain those 2 House seats.
This is how I know God is real. Because I was literally about to go to a
And
sleep
he's gonna
doctor
talk
because I
about
really
this product that they have that helps you sleep. I put this in the description so you can definitely watch it if you want.
Roman, are you aware that we are sending $40 million a week to the Taliban?
Whoa.
Yes, sir. Can you name other instances
what
of
Democrats
foreign
be
aid
doing.
going to terrorist organizations?
We have assisted Al-Shabaab in Somalia. There's been instances of the
USAID,
Hamza in
that's what they be
Sudan,
doing.
Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Kataiba, Hezbollah, Hayat Tahrir al-Shams in Syria. Dozens of terror organizations have received indirect assistance from U.S.
I just saw a story where this black woman was talking about she was a whistleblower about how they be trafficking the children in the government with money from our tax money for one of them places. Like, I don't know if it was USAID. I got to go watch it. I haven't watched it yet. But she whistleblower, a black woman, that they traffic kids, the government.
foreign aid. Let's use Gaza as our case study. $2.1 billion in American taxpayers' money to Gaza since October 7th when Hamas invaded southern Israel. USAID.
But they going to sweat you to death over that tax money that you owe them. I'm telling y'all ain't mad yet.
The money was going in terms of an emergency use authorization to try to go to parties that USAID formerly had a relationship with in the Gaza Strip. They had to have been vetted by OFAC. They should have been vetted against the special designated terror list from the State Department and from other Treasury organizations.
Why nobody's in jail?
And they spend all of this money and nobody knows what for. Is no accountability for any of this money. And this is what Donald Trump knew they were doing. Elon Musk knew they. Now, mind you, these were all people that were Democrat before Elon Musk. Donald Trump said they know what's going on. Just like that time when he was in a debate with Hillary Clinton and she was talking about his taxes, and he was like, yeah, I did it, and he was like, so do all of you. He said, and if you don't like it, you need to change the tax codes that you created. You know what I'm saying? He was honest. So these people are full of shit. And why anybody would defend these people is beyond me. Like, can we get a bone as the American people funding all of this stuff?
Were granted because they said that there was an emergency use to have that money come in to Gaza, thereby jettisoning the usual typical screening procedures. As a result, 90% of aid that was going from the United States by way of its agents in Gaza ended up in Hamas-controlled areas.
Now that's
pretty
That
insane.
just kinda
It's
pissed me off.
insane.
So our
guys.
government's funding these terrorist organizations.
Yes, and then they try.
I'm telling you, the United States funds all sides of a war so they can fight, blow up everything, collapse it. Look at Gaza. Like Donald Trump said, it's a demolition site. All they're going to do now is bulldoze everything out and rebuild everything. You understand? And that's how they collapse a country, and that's how they get what they want. Look how they burn down California. They're going to bulldoze that like they bulldozed Hawaii and build what they want to do. I'm telling you, it's a freaking scam. People got to wake up. This is what they do. And if people are telling you for years and years what they do, and people like Alex Jones been saying shit like this for 20 years, and people call him crazy or whatever, but he's right. And he was right about every damn thing almost I heard him say. Pretty much, and the people that they tell us not to listen to and not to like, those are the people that I want to hear, because I guarantee you they have some information and some facts that is just true against these people.
To make Tulsi seem like she was some type of enemy to the United States, and she was keeping it 100 about this.
So sad to say this.
I'm gonna get pissed.
October 7th
was also a Democrat too.
Oh, we've been through that.
Was funded by us.
Yes.
Probably. I think there's a good chance.
When
that you
Joe
can make that
Biden
case.
unfroze the money, we knew that then.
You look like you got a tampon in it right now.
And
This
this
man is a
this really,
clown.
Elon Musk got
100%.
very
He's
upset
happy
about
about
this. He genuinely seemed like
He's a crazy
emotional
clown.
in an interview about this. I want to just play. He just really got in his feelings about this. I want to play this for you and get your response.
You had Tim Walz, who's a huge jerk.
Tampon 10 we call him.
Running around on stage with a Tesla stock price, where the stock price had gone in half. and he was overjoyed. What an evil thing to do. What a creep. What a jerk. Like who derives joy from that?
Should have said it. Fuck him, Elon.
Are you a creep and a jerk?
Well, that's a
Definitely
badge of
a
honor if he
creep.
thinks I am. Look, it's not personal with him. Oh, it's a little bit personal. I don't want to be disingenuous. The guy does.
I can't believe anybody
It's a
voted for
little
him.
bit personal. But look, my beef on this is that this guy is out there crying about his portfolio and about stock while I'm making a comment. And my mom's.
This is how dumb these people are. First of all, it's an American company. Okay, so if just say that Tesla just goes out of business, he's still going to be the richest man. A lot, because he only owns like 12% of the company or something like that, and the rest of it is owned by like other states or something like that, and the money for your 401ks come out of the money from Tesla. So and it also employs a lot of people and stuff like that. So why would you? And it employs people abroad and everything. And like, why would you want to destroy a successful American company because some millionaire Democrats tell you to keep them from getting caught for stealing? Y'all stupid.
Social Security check this month is late, that he's attacking the portfolios of working Minnesotans and working Americans.
You laugh at
He ain't
that.
attacking
Something
nobody's
that benefits their
portfolio. He
portfolio.
ain't attacking nobody's portfolio except for these corrupt government organizations paying money to non-government organizations with our tax money. Okay, that's what he's doing. They are not thinking about our little bit of money. You know, they're trying to see if they can get us some money back. This will be fine.
He's taking it and laughing with his chainsaw about destroying the lives and undermining things and institutions that make life better for Minnesota.
I think
Of course
Democrats
he doesn't
did that.
care about these
Destroyed
agencies
everybody's
because he
lives.
has all this money. Can you imagine being the richest man in the world and taking offense that I said something about Tesla stock?
I would.
What isn't?
I really don't like Tim Walz at all.
Wasn't Minnesota have like a bunch of stock or something?
Yeah, Tesla. He laughed at it taken. So I'm like, don't try to play like you're taking the high road here.
You almost have to be an amateur psychologist on this. It's like Trump is stuck in the 80s. His music, his clothing, his thinking. He has been on this tariff thing forever. And every economist, conservative or liberal, will tell you
If there's something so bad with tariffs, then why are other countries charging us tariffs? Canada, all of these countries that he's charging tariffs to charge us tariffs. I doubt very seriously that he's charging tariffs to countries that don't charge us any tariffs. That doesn't make oh my God. I just don't understand what kind of people don't understand what's going on.
They just simply don't work. We use them strategically, but he doesn't fundamentally understand how trade works. It goes back to what I continue to say. I think the biggest myth perpetuated on this country is that Donald Trump understands anything about business. He's bankrupt
$5 trillion.
now he's bankrupting this country. So I appreciate you talking about this. This is a tax on working
This
people.
is one thing about business, especially people that do those kind of business. Some when you have that many businesses and that many projects and stuff going, some do good, some don't do good. Some things you are okay, and then you draw your money out of it. Some things fall through, whatever. You know, just because you file bankruptcy on one thing doesn't mean you're bankrupt, completely broke, or whatever. You know, they just lie so much. And all of these people that's saying that he's the crooked one are the ones that are stealing the tax dollars. This guy wanted to put tampons in the boys' bathroom. These people are crazy. That's why they call him Tampon Tim.
That we've not seen in any of our lifetimes, and it is going to have dramatic effect. You almost have.
Bro, I think Apple just funded $500 billion to the United
And I'm like, what? And this is just so dumb. It's not that many places that have tampon machines. You understand? It's really not. And most women are going to bring their own tampons of their choice when they had a period. Like if you're on your period, you're not going to go anywhere without your own, feminine products or whatever. So why was it such a big issue and such a thing to go and have tampons in the boys? Like they really ran hard for that. And this is the agendas you guys will align with. It makes no sense. It's craziness.
I don't want to hear what these people are talking
I
about.
don't understand what they be talking about.
These people are building factories in the United States.
A lot of
American company cars are actually making cars.
I think they said Rolls Royce is coming here, Toyota, and Apple just made a big deal to do their factories here. So Donald Trump, this is why I say he's skillful to me. And like I said in his book, I read his book. I feel like he said, I'm going to charge you guys tariffs just so they'll put their factories here, because if you put your factories here, you have no tariffs. And it actually probably is going to be cheaper for them in the long run to put the factory here and not be charged any tariffs for forever. You understand? So it was a good move. You know what I'm saying? It was a good move. And I feel like other people, other nations, they might follow suit once they see it's not working, you know? And like the stuff that we have issue with, we don't have to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all boycotting people because of DEI, but you won't boycott a nation over tariffs because they're charging us tariffs and they won't accept ours. You understand? It's just bullshit. It's bullshit. Americans are the biggest consumers and wasters of money in the whole entire world. We could do without certain shit until we get our infrastructure together here. I mean, seriously, I feel like we shouldn't be spending no money abroad, if you ask me. You know what I mean? Except for what we really, really, really have to use.
America now.
Yeah, I don't know what
what
their points are. I don't really even care anymore. We know they're full of crap.
Semiconductor chips are getting built in the United States of America now. We'll do this job.
That was another thing. He wanted to stop getting stuff from China and abroad for tech and make it here. You understand? And then he had all these space programs and the air industry, or whatever you call it, I don't know what do you call that? I'm so tired. The air industry, airplanes and different flying things. They want to make more stuff like that here and make the parts here so you don't have to rely. Because he's thinking, I really think that he has discernment, because he knows if he decides to come out of NATO, they're all going to want to be attacking him. And he's not going to be able to rely on Europe for anything. And I really can't think of anything too much that Europe does, because they're always asking for our money, for their military, for this, for that, for this, for that. And a lot of European countries don't like the European Union and don't like NATO because they're, forcing their elections, locking up the people that the people want for president and stuff like that. And, I just feel like Europe is going to fall. It's going to fall. And if the United States pulls out, it's really going to fall, because they'll just have to stand alone against the rest of the world with their bullshit. And I really would love to see that happen, because they are doing too much. And historically, they have been doing too much. And the rest of the world is against the West. And I really wish that Trump would pull us out of that to save us from the bullshit and let Canada and let Europe and Israel stand on their own. Since they want to have all these wars and control the world and be in every country's culture and business and trying to steal their resources and everything, let them do that on their own. So I really feel like Trump is trying to stockpile and then maybe come out of it. I really do think, I don't know, but I really hope that he comes out of it. He did say that was one of the things he would do. And he so far, he said everything he's going to do. He's been doing it. He made that pardon czar, and he's been pardoning black people out of jail, like he said. So, I just wish they would give them a chance and just leave them alone, let them focus and do what they got to do.
Tampon, teddy bear stuffing, feel of joy, motherfucker. Won't.
And this really
bro. Apple have to.
Apple and Meta then.
Apple have to, bro.
Yeah,
they have to.
Bro, we know they're opening up a place here in Houston.
So
of course they did money.
So I'm not surprised,
Taiwan,
bro. Y'all,
SoftBank.
If you surprised, you shouldn't be surprised.
United Arab
Emirates.
Yes, there's so many companies putting their offices in their factories here.
$1.4 trillion.
Emirates is an airplane company. Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, $600 billion.
21 billion from Hyundai.
Yep. Come on, man.
Yeah,
he's not a good businessman.
Yeah. Bro, 500 billion from OpenAI.
Teddy Bear Tim.
OpenAI.
Yeah, man. Tim is a loser, man.
And they're telling you all of this part. This is the crazy shit that a lot of companies are coming here and going to put their factories here because they don't want to pay those tariffs. And the ones that don't want to pay, it just kind of reminds me when I stopped working in a salon and I started working from home. So I lost half of my clients, but that half that stayed and paid the full prices, I did better than before because I didn't have to pay, the money to the salon. So I lost half of the clients, but it turned out better for me. So I feel like this is going to be more the same. I feel like, we'll lose some countries or whatever doing business with them, and it might hurt for a minute, but we'll get stuff from other places, and out of sight, out of mind, and we'll just start creating the stuff that we miss here and make more industry here and stuff like that. So I just feel like, how dumb would you got to be to just send everything abroad and have nothing here? What future do we have in this country if we don't make anything here? Nothing.
Not someone I want to grow up and be like. So
and then we have this.
When I first became a public defender,
Now this is what I wanted y'all to see, because they waited to the end to show it. But this Jasmine Crocket shit right here, this girl, I just can't anymore.
No criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm Black. Charlie looked at me like I was crazy.
And I want you all to remain as encouraged as possible. One of the songs that has come to mind as MAGA continues to try to figure out what type of attack will work on me. Just to be clear, I know some of y'all were out there and were concerned about all the hate and that kind of stuff. I want y'all to know that MAGA there's nothing that I could ever say or do that would make MAGA be like, that's our girl, right? Because first of all, ton of racist. So never happening, right?
She said, I have no experience, but I'm Black. So what does that fall under?
Why would I go to an interview and say that?
I call you that, and then I'm racist for calling you what you just said you are.
I don't know what her point was. I really don't.
Are y'all that dumb?
Exactly.
To have the sitting attorney general go on, and I'm gonna call it faux news. I know some of y'all love it, but it's fake to me.
Fox.
To have her go on,
it's all bullshit.
And to then decide that she wanted to send a threat to me, it was wrong. Because here it is, she is the highest law enforcement agent in this country.
She just reminds me of that ghetto mayor in Chicago or whatever. It's like they put the most ghetto person that they could find, and then they allowed them to be teared down and kicked out. They're gonna throw her under the bus. Just watch. They're gonna throw her under the bus, and the people are going to turn on her. They're gonna throw her under the bus, and then they'll just find another person to replace her, because I don't think that she's going to be effective in the way they thought.
People are watching and they are consuming this information, and they are believing
she's a victim.
That simply because I decided that I wanted to exercise my right to free speech, which I am not abridged from doing.
I can see what she's going.
That she then wanted to then politicize something.
I'm not saying she's a victim. Hold on.
This guy, the one in the middle, he kind of, he always kind of has that position of the devil's advocate all the time, and they get on him. I like him. I just like them all together. They're wonderful. I like them a lot.
She didn't tell nobody to blow anything up. We had this argument before.
She cheated on. She didn't condemn it. All she said was condemn and apologize.
That's why I said.
Now she's saying, she threatened me.
It was wrong.
She's a victim.
It was wrong. I said
it was wrong. Okay, so
I didn't say she didn't tell nobody. I didn't say
don't sit here and say you could get
those words should not be coming out of a person's mouth that couldn't say sorry to a disabled person.
All she said was say sorry and condemn the violence. Oh, she attacked me. Oh, I'm a victim.
So she lied.
I don't want to hear this shit no more. Please, can we?
And that's another thing. She said that she wanted people that get rid of Elon Musk for her birthday, and just very inflammatory things that make the crazy leftists that are out of their mind go out and commit violence and stuff like that. And she should tell them to stop doing that.
Can be done, please. I can't take it. I cannot take it.
Simply because I decided that I wanted to exercise my right to free speech, which I am not abridged from doing. that she then wanted to then politicize something that should not be politicized. I don't like Elon Musk. I'm gonna say it 50,000 times. I don't like him. I don't like that he going out there and he firing people. I think that he's a crook because somehow the rest of us.
He's a crook, but she's not. She makes $100,000 a year, but she's worth 12 million in a little bit of time that she's in Congress. These Congress people they're criminals. And I wish that they would get locked up. I wish that they would look at all of these people and figure out how they come in there making a few $100,000 and leave with multiple millions of dollars after a couple of years. It's crazy. It's our tax dollars they got. I wish that they would catch all these people and lock them up. That's why they're going so hard to not, to block them from looking at them.
Can't sit around and get whatever federal contracts we want. The rest of us can't sit around and get law enforcement and get them somehow ordained as federal law enforcement to protect him. The rest of us can't get our dealerships protected by the federal government. That is somebody that is operating above the law. For whatever reason, just because he has a lot of money, more money than everybody else. And yes,
the federal government will protect you in certain circumstances. They will. And he was appointed by the president to work. So, he is entitled to protection if they want to give it to him. You know what I'm saying? And she's talking about what Congress can and cannot do. Congress is in control of the money, and that's why they're all rich. And that's why we have no industry in America, because they take kickbacks to give. That's how, a country can charge us tariffs and we're not charging them tariffs because some person in Congress is like, well, we'll make the policy where you don't have to pay and you just kick it back to me, give me a few $1 million. You understand? That's how they do it. These people are full of it.
I am happy to see that on my birthday, which is what I said, there were peaceful protests around this world against him.
Protests
because he is a problem.
People burning down.
And so you never should have somebody that is sitting that high and is going to sit up here and threaten a sitting member of Congress when she knew good and well, if she watched the entire thing, that I specifically told protesters to make sure you consult with lawyers, just like I've told protesters over and over and over in the history of me advising people to go out and exercise their constitutional right. The fact that there are other sitting members that have received letters of threat from this new DOJ tells me that they are about retribution and they are not about following the law.
So you have done the most craziest shit the past 2 weeks. And now you the victim?
Nah, they're talking about retribution. Like, we didn't just see them put up a bunch of fake charges on Trump. Oh, this DOJ is about retribution, not the law. Oh, but
the thing is, though, they did like really try to. They do it in Europe. They lock up the people in Europe. In Ukraine, they locked up a lot of the opposition, and they tried to do it to Trump, but he just had the illegal team because he's been getting sued for 30 years. You know what I mean? So, he was able to fight it, and the people saw through it. You know what I mean? But they just did it in Europe. They locked up one of the adversaries, political adversaries. So it's like, this is what the West does. Like, they're going to lock up and try to get rid of anybody that's going to get in the way of their globalist agenda. You know what I mean? And then you have minions like Jasmine, Crocket, and people like that to try to keep the people asleep. Null, is that the word? Null to sleep. They try to keep the people stupid and, have the dumbest in society that will vote for them and follow somebody like this. These people are corrupt and crooked. I feel like they should be going to jail for this stuff that they're doing with the money. We see the corruption now. Who's doing it and lock them up? I don't understand what's happening here. So, time will reveal and we'll see. But for me, I feel like it's a bunch of bullshit on both sides. What about the Epstein shit? Where is that at? It's just like, I don't know. All of these people are full of shit to me. So I'm tired. I've been on here longer than I thought I would be, but I just wanted you guys to see, different perspective than the mainstream media perspective that you always listen to. And hopefully, it'll change your opinion a little bit, and maybe you'll go down a rabbit hole. And I'm not, if you trust these people, keep on trusting them. But I'm just letting you know that there's other opinions out there of people that look just like you, thousands of them with bigger followers than MSNBC and CNN and anything that you be watching. All right, so I'm going because I am so tired. I was tired before I came in here. It's past my bedtime because I go to bed early because I had to keep my beauty sleep. All right, you guys, I'm going. I love you. I am Shelly B. Let me close my screen. Stop sharing my screen. Okay. I am Shelly B. I thank you for watching with me. This means I love you in sign language because I do. Anybody that sat through this with me, like, share, and subscribe. And I'm out of here. I'm so tired. I will see you tomorrow. Go down the rabbit holes. Please watch independent media. Go on there. Go down a rabbit hole. Watch other types of news. Get off Google. Read books. Talk to people. Get outside. Go talk to people. Make it happen. Come on. Elevate your frequency. This is why we're here. I love y'all. Thanks for watching.